Okay, welcome back to the 12 Days of Transforming Toys, and yeah, today would be the release of the Bumblebee movie, so we are going to be looking at another movie toy. Yeah, 3 in a row for the weekend of Bumblebee, I guess. And you can see we have Orion over there, Prime over there, and I'm not sure if you can see him way back there, but there is Savage Noble here to review Dragonstorm. And not just one Dragonstorm, 2 Dragonstorms. Yeah, I feel a little generous today, so we're bumping it up to 13. I'm combining these together because they're basically the same character, and there's really not much to this guy. So let's take a good look at the Legion first, because this is going to go quick. Some nice red, a little bit of gold, and a lot of black. He does have some articulation in the necks, but I'm very hesitant to use this for reasons that may show up in the video as I go along. Now then, to transform him, we just rip off his tail, fold down the legs, fold up the feet to make the robot legs, fold back the head, fold in the wings like so. And we don't want to fold those in too far because we have to split these forward to give us enough room to fold into the dragon hands. The dragon arms. The heads into the arms. And this is where it gets a little problematic. This could just be mine, but this ball joint doesn't really sit too well because if I try to rotate it, there's a possibility of it popping out on its own. And it's a little tricky to get the ball joint back in when it's supposed to. So, okay, it's good for now, but it seems like it wants to lock in certain positions. And as for the tail, it becomes his sword. And we can see some more gold and red in there. Nice head sculpt. All in all, nice little Legion toy. Now we're gonna, excuse me. Come on, stand up. Now let's take a look at the big guy, the big Dragonstorm. And he's just mostly silver and bluish silver with a little bit of flare orange in the heads and some black. This is more accurate to how he looked in the movie, I think, but it's hard to say. I'd have to see The Last Night again, which is the only Transformers movie I don't have on DVD. Now you can see there is weapon storage, there's the robot mode sword and mace, because this is technically a combiner. Yeah, unlike most combiners, this, I guess you can more call this a reverse duocon, where the alt mode splits into 2 robots. So we're gonna splay open his chest like so, and unfortunately this tab right here is supposed to slot in here. Is a little loose and it's very hard to get that tab to work. Same with the tabs that are supposed to hold in the hips. I have them pop out on occasion when I try to pose this toy. Now, there is a click in his elbow here, and I'll show more of this leg because a lot of the joints are locked up in robot mode. Dragon mode. So we're gonna rip him apart. We're gonna make sure that we get the right spots because I have to move that mace because the seam where it splits is right there. So we have his 2 pieces. Let's work with this one first because this one is the least complicated. So we're gonna rip off the mace, pull this, flip it up part of the way because we don't want to block this assembly yet because we have to flip this around like so. There's 2 joints here. Okay, that's never happened before. Where we pop the joints like so, flip this arm around. Yeah, these shoulder pieces are notorious for popping off, so be very careful. I never had the whole arm pop off, but I have these panels on both sides on both robots pop off a lot. Now you gotta rotate his head around, but there is no clearance that way at all. The only way is through the gap on that side. You flip up the panel like so, flip down the arm, twist it around, flip up this panel to flip out the hand, and fold back the dragon head. Now for his lower torso, pull down the leg, snaps in place, fold the tail assembly into the other leg, pull out the feet, flip the torso around like so. You want to make sure that the legs are properly situated to give you clearance. Panel kind of popped out there. There's really no way for this panel to peg in at all. And we have him in robot mode. And I don't recall which knight this is called. But as you can see, he has the mace. And he's ready for battle. There's also a hole in the back where you can post the mace on his back. Let's look at the articulation quickly. We got good hips, knees, shoulders, elbow. And it's the same on the other side too, despite the fact that this was inside his torso. They're both pretty much the same, which is kind of interesting because you'd think that the dragon head would actually be a little bit more hindered or have more joints, but nope, they're basically about the same. So let's take a look at the upper torso and this little problem piece. I have heard of people who've gotten Dragonstorm with the head missing. That's because this thing will pop out, and it is very easy to pop out. So you have to be very careful when you fold the robot mode head out. Now for this whole assembly here, this is very tricky. You gotta fold the leg, the arms back like so, and you have to be able to fold these in a certain angle because it will click in like so, and you need to make sure that they're in the right position or else the torso will not fold up properly. And I think I'm supposed to not fold out the head till I get the other arm in place because I have to. Yeah, there is very little clearance to get this arm back into the torso. Because, again, it's engineered in a way to make it look as movie accurate as possible, but at the same time, it also makes it very problematic to get the proper clearances. Okay, we gotta make sure that the head's flipped out before we transform him. Before we clip the body together, we also gotta make sure that his legs are transformed. Because just that knee joint in dragon mode, whereas if we get him into robot mode and clip the knee in place, he has a bit of a double jointed knee. Although to get that double joint, you'll occasionally pop out the connecting point. Flip out his toe, and we do the same to his other leg. The knee pegs into the thigh up there. So we are almost done. Gotta fold this assembly in like so. And unfortunately, sometimes the joint gets a little tight. But once we do, we peg this together. Although it doesn't really stay all that secure. There's two pegs into the holes in there, and we just try our best to make sure that everything clips in place. Fiddling around with the arms inside his torso to make sure that everything fits as it's supposed to, which is the problem with this toy, is because the fact that you have to make sure that the arms are properly aligned in the body to allow clearance for all the other bits. Yeah, so he is the more problematic of the two. In fact, this part does not even stay tabbed in too well. And these shoulder pads pop off a lot. So, again, these arms transform just like the one on the other guy. And while we're at it, we'll take the swords off the wings. fold the wings back while we're at it. And we are just about done. And there we go. And again, as I said, he's the most problematic because this doesn't like to stay tabbed in. You have to make sure the dragon arms are in the proper position to make sure that his torso locks in place. And even then, it doesn't always stay in the spot. His head, it has some good rotation, but it will pop off that transformation joint. Arms are basically about the same as his. He has some good legs, but the ratchets will kind of make it a little tough to get him to pose properly. And anyway, those are the two robots that make Dragonstorm. Again, don't ask me what the knights' names are. I don't have their names on hand right now, unlike what I had for when I reviewed Infernicus. Anyway, all in all, very difficult to transform, but other than that, it is a really nice looking thing. And what can I say? I'm a sucker for dragons. Anyway, that's the end of the review, and I'll see you guys again next video. Bye!